Today we're going to do picks 5 through 8 as they stand currently in the draft order. If there's some trades that are made between now and next Thursday, we'll account for that when we break down every team in the first round. So that's the deal. We'll have our experts from each team, somebody in the market that follows the team every day, make a well-informed pick. Key will give his analysis, and then that analyst will break down why he or she made the selection they did. So we are ready to go with the best. There it is. Key's perked up at 6:35 a.m. Eastern. That's one way to get Key. Some people need coffee. Key needs the draft chime. The Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock, aren't they always? Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 with the selection.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 KJZ Mock Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver from LSU.
Yeah, I don't think that this is the right pick for Cincinnati. I understand what they want to do. They want to surround Joe Burrow with weapons. But if he's on his back like he was a lot last year prior to the injury, then Ja'Marr Chase is not going to get the football at all, let alone they have a guy in T. Higgins they drafted out of Clemson last year in the second round, Tyler Boyd several years before that out of Pittsburgh, Joe Mixon in the backfield. You need an offensive lineman. Penei Sewell out of Oregon should have been a pick here. But if they want to throw the ball on his back, have him throw the ball on his back, go right ahead.
Joe Burrow reuniting with Ja'Marr Chase from Baton Rouge to Cincinnati. Everyone's got Sewell, so Mo, explain the Chase selection.
This is a position in which the Bengals really can't get it wrong. Kyle Pitts is available. He's a physical freak. Penei Sewell's available. The best offensive line prospect in this draft. But with the offensive line in which the Bengals need to get better, there are players the Bengals could get in rounds 2 and 3. They can plug in and play at guard. And with Chase specifically, you cannot ignore the production he had in 2019 playing with Joe Burrow. Over 1,700 yards receiving, 20 touchdown receptions. You take Ja'Marr Chase and you add him to Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Burrow, and suddenly you have an offense that has the capability of being one of the most explosive.
And that was the single best receiving season in LSU history. Ja'Marr did opt out last year, so if you're wondering that name, you didn't see him last year, that's the reason. Here we go. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock with their rebuilding project certainly ahead of schedule, you would think. Amber Wilson, ESPN Radio, and 790 The Ticket with selection 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2021 KJZ Mock Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kyle Pitts, tight end, the University of Florida.
I think this is a great pick for Miami. You think about it, he's from the area right there. Actually, he's from Philadelphia, but he played not far up the road at the University of Florida. But this allows Tua a big-time target in the red zone. You know, the interesting thing, they went out and got Will Fuller, who can lift the coverage with speed. You got Parker on the underneath stuff. But here's a mismatch that linebackers, safeties, they can't cover this guy. The only thing that I question is his speed playing-wise. He doesn't seem to play fast to me. It seems like his body is what gets him open, being tall and rangy, not necessarily violent and physical. When you look at guys like Travis Kelce, for that size, Travis Kelce plays fast. When you look at a young Gronkowski, he played fast. So hopefully Kyle Pitts makes the adjustment to the National Football League and turns up the speed level in games.
Jimbo Fisher was on the show yesterday, effusive in his phrase of Pitts, unwarranted. Just asked him. He didn't even bring it up. Boom. He just said, watch out for that kid from Florida. Amber, on why this pick makes so much sense.
Guys, the Dolphins found themselves in the unique position of sitting at the top of the draft in that 3rd spot and not needing to draft a quarterback because they had just drafted one. So they traded all the way back, but then they bothered to trade back up to get into that 6th spot. And that tells me that they're still interested in taking a skill position here at 6. This is a quarterback heavy draft. This is also a pass catcher heavy draft. However, I think drafting Kyle Pitts is less about the position that he plays and more about just taking the next best guy off your draft board. In fact, the Dolphins don't actually need to draft a tight end. They have Micah. But if you have the opportunity here to draft the best tight end prospect ever in NFL draft history, you do it. You pair him with Mike Gesicki and you give Tua Tagovailoa an arsenal of weapons at that tight end position, even if that's at the expense of passing on pairing Tua up with some of his former teammates who are still on the board in Waddle and Smith.
Greeny is going to be hearing this in his ear over 200 times. That's a little bit too much. The Lions, right back in the top 10 where they belong. David Mad Dog DeMarco, 7:30 the game in Lansing, Michigan, with the Lions' 7th selection.
With the 7th pick in the 2021 KJZ Mock Draft, the Detroit Lions, with the 7th pick, take Micah Parsons out of Penn State.
I agree with this pick. I think they need some edge rushing capabilities. If Michael Parsons had come back or not opted out, he certainly could have been in the top 5 type category had he continued the production at Penn State. He's a force to be reckoned with, not only in the pass game, but also in the run game, a sub 4-3 defender. And when you have a guy like that that can chase down the running backs from the other side, get to the quarterback off the edge, you certainly can set the defense to another standard. I think when you look at it, where things are going for Detroit, they've got to start on the defensive side of the ball.
Slowly building the defense. Okudah last year, this year, going at least in this particular draft here with Micah Parsons out of Penn State. Here's Mad Dog on the rationale.
You know, a lot of people might think that they should take the 3 wide receivers, and even if Justin Fields is their quarterback out of Ohio State, and maybe they will, I think defense needs to be addressed big time with the Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia was a defensive-minded guy from Bill Belichick's defense in New England, and their defense in Detroit has just smelled. It's been awful. It's been terrible, and now they have a new regime of coaches. I think Parsons, 6'3", 244, junior out of Penn State, I think he's perfect right there. I've heard nobody say Micah Parsons at number 7. Maybe that's uplifting him a little bit, but Detroit needs defense. I know Goff needs receivers. They can get receivers. That's who I like. Micah Parsons, 6'3", 244 linebacker, Penn State.